Good morning, and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View. It's not often, today's video is all about fullbacks, so if you're not interested in fullbacks at Celtic and the ongoing situation with the fullbacks at Celtic, yeah, you are, aren't you? And anyway, it's not often that Tony Ralston gets plaudits from the media. Not only the media, but all over social media and the mainstream media. There's a video going around of Tony Ralston went to shake hands with one and only Ronaldo, and Ronaldo goes, "Que pasa?" He didn't because that's Spanish, but anyway, just puts his arms out and said, "What an unbelievable game you had," and he's basically gesturing his and he spat the dummy out, gesturing at his teammates, and then walks off the pitch. And you can hear some boos from the Scotland fans. Talking about Scotland fans, isn't it? Have Scotland turned into the Rangers in disguise? It was see Scotland fan with a half and half flag. We have home fans, Scotland fans with Ronaldo masks, and Scotland fans with Ronaldo gives your tap. Scotland has turned into just Sevco, haven't they? We're a laughing stock on international level. We haven't won a game in 15, 16 games, and we celebrate a draw. Whipper! And to make it even better last night, I've got to admit, I tried to log on, I went onto YouTube to watch it because everyone knew it was on YouTube, and it was not available in this country. Cheers, Scotland. Yeah, and it wasn't available on YouTube outside Scotland. Which is amazing, that, because YouTube's an international platform, and I think the views that they would have got. But obviously TV deals in rights, etc. It was maybe on another channel, but I couldn't be bothered watching it, to be honest. And when I look at the stats last night, when you look at the stats from the Scotland game, wow, were they bad? It's Scotland versus Portugal stats is... it's nothing to be really proud of. I mean, Portugal had 70%, and I'll get on to Celtic in a minute, but we need to talk about this because we all know that Brendan Rodgers and Celtic are big fans of stats, but Portugal had 70% of the ball. They made 714 passes. They had a pass accuracy 91%. That's phenomenal. I mean, even when Celtic have a really... I mean, the reason I'm talking about this and the stats with the Scotland game is this is what Celtic have to put up with on a week-to-week basis. And other teams don't get the plaudits for getting the draw against Celtic, do they? But then nobody's drawn against Celtic this season. But anyway, they had 70% possession, 714 passes, 91% pass accuracy. They had 19 fouls, 4 yellow cards, and they were offside once. It's unbelievable to be just offside once. But they did have 14 shots at goals, and 14 shots, and only 3 on target. Scotland had 4 shots and 2 on target. They come in the first half. They had 30% possession. They only had 314 passes. 314 passes with a pass accuracy of 79%. They committed 13 fouls. Wow, celebrating a draw. They sit bottom of the table. There's no chance that they're going to do anything in this group. I mean, Portugal top the table on 10 points. Croatia are on 7 points, and then Poland are on 4 points. Scotland are wash. It's as simple as that under Stevie Clarke. And it's not the channel to talk about Stevie Clarke and whether he should be sacked or not. I might do a video later on today when I'm finished work on the other channel to see if will I even bother. Are people interested? I think when Scotland goes through phases like this, Scotland are really fair weather fans. I mean, I understand that the stadium was okay last night, but I think Scotland give away that many free tickets to fill seats. You know, it's unbelievable. And the fact that it was on YouTube in the country is probably good, but not everyone would have known it was on YouTube. It wasn't really publicised. It was only... I mean, if you get my old man didn't know it was on YouTube, and he was like, where's Scotland game on? But anyway, Cristiano Ronaldo takes a massive hump, and I thought it was funny. Get on at Celtic news. So we've obviously spoken about Tony Ralston and the plaudits that he has been given after last night's performance. I don't even want to talk about it. The Kieran Tierney story. I'll get rid of this Scotland thing. The Kieran Tierney story just will not go away as far as Celtic are concerned. Now, after the Celtic Foundation event on Friday evening passed, we also had the picture that Celtic Foundation decided to put out. And is this a warm-up to Kieran Tierney returning to Celtic this next transfer window? Yes, I said it. I'm one that have said, look, it doesn't usually work when you come back. But with Alex Bailly maybe not living up to expectations, and the fact that we might not be able to do a deal with Barcelona, and Greg Taylor, it's widely accepted now that Greg Taylor will be leaving the club at the end of his contract. Not a chance, says Celtic. Not a chance, says Celtic. If you think back to last season when the one and only David Turnbull was running out his contract, Celtic sold him for £3 million at the winter transfer window. Celtic will not want to lose out on any money on Greg Taylor, so they will punt him at the next transfer window, which makes sense then for, and I'm going to say it, and I've never thought I would say it, but for Kieran Tierney to return to Celtic on loan until the end of the season. On loan to the end of the season. He still has a year and a bit left on his contract. They will be wanting at least £10 million for him. They will not let Kieran Tierney go for buttons. Will Celtic take him with an option to buy for £10 million or thereabouts? It is the kind of transfer money that Celtic are looking to pay for players. And ultimately, Brendan Rodgers will want to see if he could stay fit half the season. And I never thought I'd be saying this, because I always think it's time to move on. And I think Celtic, they always do better when they move on. Celtic have always had a conveyor belt of players that come into positions. But the left-back position has been of great concern to Celtic over the years. We went out and spent a lot of money. And this is another reason that I'm thinking behind it as well, because Alexandro Bernabe will be sold at the next transfer window. He will be sold to a team in Brazil. He will not be coming back to Celtic, which leaves the fact that if Greg Taylor, Bernabe was brought in to be Greg Taylor's, he was meant to come in and take over the position, wasn't he? And it didn't work out. And he struggled to settle down in Scotland, and we all know the story. He wasn't very good, but he's went back down to South America, and he seems to be, he found his love of football again. Scottish football, let's face it, isn't the same. You can understand why Alex Bailly kind of struggled when he came in, because the South American football, the Spanish football, is a completely different ball game to the way that it's played in Scotland. It is the rough and tumble of football in Scotland, and Portugal found out last night it could be what they class it in football world terms as anti-football, just sitting back and not having a go and defending for your lives. Welcome to the life of being a Celtic fan. Welcome to the life of being a Celtic fan, Ronaldo. Hey, it's fantastic, isn't it? Anyway, we do digress, but I think that if Brendan Rodgers has spoken to KT has been told that he's no longer is surplus to requirements at the club, and they are prepared to let him go out on loan the second half of this season to try and get him a club that will purchase him. It has been said that Las Palmas in Spain are interested in taking him. Will he come back to Celtic? Will this fulfil his ambition of one day returning back to Celtic, even if it's just on loan to regain his fitness until the end of the season? Maybe that would put to bed all the he's coming. Don't say it. He's coming back. I was going to say he's coming home. He's coming home, he's coming home, anyone sings that? It's just sad, dare you? But anyway, tell me what you think about it in the comment section, because I think it is a story that we've tried to put to bed many, many times, but there's so many publications talking about it this morning. And even, it's not the Scotsman, where is it? It is the Express down in London put out a piece last night. What time was this put out? Yeah, yesterday evening, talking about the fact that Arsenal could reportedly sanction an emotional return to Celtic for Kieran Tierney in the January transfer window. The 27-year-old is yet to make his first Premier League appearance in this campaign, having been injured while playing for Scotland at Euro 2024. Tierney has slipped down the pecking order at Arsenal over the last few seasons and only has 2 years left on his contract. It seems that it could return to Celtic sooner rather than later, with Arsenal reportedly deemed him surplus to requirements. According to a very well-informed Gunners information leak, they've informed Tierney that he'll be allowed to leave when the transfer window reopens in January. Would that be to leave on loan to the end of the season, or will it be to sell? I think that Celtic have got to go down any road. They would only take him on loan to the end of the season. I don't think Celtic are going to pump out. They will want to recoup as much of the 19 million that they paid Celtic back in 2019. Brendan Rodgers, it goes on to say, has spoke with Kieran Tierney when they were both working down in England, and this is the first time that he spoke to him since he's been in Scotland, Brendan Rodgers. But both attended the Celtic Foundation, the annual gala, where they were seen talking to each other. I knew that picture. Why did Celtic Foundation put that picture out? Because all it's done is just add to the media frenzy. And I can understand if Celtic want to try and control the narrative and put out good news stories and all the rest of it, but added to speculation like this does the club no favours whatsoever, or does it? But anyway, Rodgers has made no secret of his admiration for Tierney, who managed during his first spell at Celtic Park. He says anytime that they've met in the Premier League in England, he says, we spoke about Celtic. He says, you can never say never in football. You never know what might happen. He said that a few years ago. They're taking a comment from him a few years ago. It'll be interesting to see the press conference this week. It'll be absolutely fantastic to see the press conference this week, because no one will talk about the Aberdeen game for the first 15 minutes. They'll talk about Kieran Tierney. And they might talk about Tony Ralston's exploits. I wonder if anyone will ask about the Greg Taylor situation, because reading between the lines, it's looking more and more evident that Greg Taylor will be leaving the club. If not at the end of this, he'll be leaving at the next transfer window. I cannot see a situation where Celtic will allow Celtic value Greg Taylor at around about £7 million. They're not going to let £7 million worth of assets walk out the door for absolutely nothing when they can get some money for them. And let's face it, someone will spend £3 million, someone down in the English Championship or something like that will spend £3 million on Greg Taylor and take him down south. There'll be an abundance of teams will come in for him. Maybe even a Premier League team. You never know. But there will be, his agent will be working on it in the background. We all know that. And we just have to wait and see. Press conference is going to be great this week. I'm actually buzzing for it for a change. Usually it's 18 minutes of questions that have absolutely nothing to do with the game this weekend, and I feel that it's missed opportunities. But hopefully Celtic media people at the media conference will ask the questions. What's happening with Greg Taylor? Is he fit, and is he leaving the club in the next transfer window? Has he signed a new deal? What is the contract situation? A lot of questions, and you're only allowed one. I'd make it a triple-barreled question. And then he's going to get the questions. So, how's Kieran? What's the situation? You're looking, and he'll say, "Look, we're nowhere near trying." And you can see Brendan Rodgers' response already. I'm not going to take a better player that's at another club. Simple as that. And that's his standard Brendan Rodgers response, isn't it? It's I don't want to talk about a player that's at another club. Yeah, Kieran's doing fine. We're good mates. We had a good chat. But I'm not talking about a player that's at another club. Move on. That's it. He puts it to bed like that. Or will he entertain more conversation about the Kieran Tierney situation, which has just grown arms and legs since Friday night? I kind of hoped it had been nipped in the bud, but with a lot of publications down in London talking about it today, there has to be some meat on the bone somewhere about it. Anyway, yes, don't get worried about the time, because you're probably reading the time here and going, what the hell? It's no that time, but it's no 7:45 in the morning. It's 9 o'clock. What's going on? You're messing with my brain, man. Yeah, I have pre-recorded this video, and apologies if you think that it was live and the clock's wrong. You're like, no, man, this clock's wrong. It can't be right. But anyway, we'll be back with a live tonight. I done my back in yesterday, and then I tried to watch the Scotland game. It still went wrong last night, really. Anyway, have an absolutely fantastic day, Celtic fans all around the world.